Radio. Be our friend. Drop us a message if you'd love to be a sponsor in this great program. Also, don't forget us on Porchtalk Radio T for you Twitter people, as well as porchtalkradio.com. Share that link with friends and family all over the planet, please. Eddie, where to?
Well, thanks again for all you folks who decided to join us again and give us the comfort and the pleasure of having you watch our show. We have another great show for you, and I just wanted to tell you, so I can start off right, that starting on October the 23rd at 7 o'clock in the morning, bright and early, for those early risers, they will have early voting. Right, that's right. It's that time again. So in a couple of weeks, give or take 2 weeks, matter of fact, starting on the 23rd, what's the date? So the day is the 11th. So that's not quite 2 weeks, but we will have early voting, so you can go to almost any of your local libraries. The supervisor of election has a list of libraries, but most of the libraries where you normally go and do what you do at the library, that be computing, reading. I say that because I know I don't want some of you guys to blow what I just said out of proportion. And I respect,
never.
Because I know who I'm sitting here with. So
professionals,
and of course Selena would not do anything like that. But the other folks here,
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But yeah.
So as I was saying, early voting starts. We know all you guys and gals are voters. So I know you registered because you had to register before October the 6th in order to vote for the election on November the 4th. So I know you've already done that part. So this is the other part. You can't just register and not vote, so you need to vote. So I just want to make sure you got that information and you got it early so you can't say nobody's told you. Somebody didn't tell you. And again, Porchtalk Radio on TV, the show that you all have become used to seeing every Saturday at this time. And it's a live show. So the fact that it's live means if we blow something, blunder, something slip out, too bad because it's already said, it's already done. So don't try this at home because we're unpaid, highly skilled professionals. Did I say that right?
Didn't make sense. Like oxymoron, isn't it? High professional, unpaid. I don't know about that.
So anyway, so what we're going to do is I have a wonderful and great guest who happens to be a friend of mine. And when we come back off a break, I'm going to introduce her to you again. And we're going to talk about something that's really interesting because I was by our office the other day and the conversation came up and she was scheduled to be on the show anyway. So we're going to talk about something that you talk about. See you in a little bit.
When you're driving, you gotta be careful. You gotta watch out for a lot of people. It's up to you to look out for kids like me. Watch out for kids. You don't always pay attention. Please watch out for kids like me. Watch out for older people. My mom or dad could be walking on the street. Watch out for my grandma. You gotta watch out for anybody you see on the street because it really hurts when you hit by a car. Like you have to go to the hospital. You have to get stitches on it. You might die. If you hit one person in the family, you hit the whole family. Watch out for others. There's nothing fun about accidents. Nothing at all. Follow the rules. Look ahead for signs of people. Be aware of crosswalks. Look out for school zones. If you see kids, go slower. Being safe takes all your attention. Be aware of what's going on around you. Watch out for the people open the car doors. Watch out for bicycles. Be aware of blind spots and where people can hide. Watch out for vision blockers. Please use your ears. Always check your mirrors. Pack up carefully. Your situation can change quickly. Keep a cushion of safety. Keep your distance. No driving fast. The stop sign means stop. Don't forget to stop out the line. Communicate with other people on the street. Use your turn signal. Make eye contact. Tap the horn if you need to. Bye-bye. See you later.
Welcome back, everyone, to Porch Talk Radio on TV. Please don't forget us on Facebook. Come on board, be our friend. Also, don't forget us at blogtalkradio.com. Just type in Porch Talk Radio online, and you'll find us there as well. Got a great show lined out. Eddie?
Well, as I said, I have a friend, guest, someone who's part of the community leadership, and she's been here before. So this is her second visit to the show, and she's also one of our sponsors. And Miss Selena Opaliki is the CEO and president of Faith Home Health Incorporated. Now, in a conversation me and her had in her office the other day, we was kind of talking about some stuff, and part of the conversation led to Ebola. And I know some of you guys have heard of that word before because we've mentioned it here a couple of times ourselves. And we will mention it later here as we go on with this conversation. But I guess there were some new standards for the healthcare industry that kind of came out over the last couple of weeks on how you handle and how you deal with it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Selena introduce herself to you. And Selena's from Nigeria, so she is actually originally from Africa. So she's going to tell you a little bit about herself and a little bit about what I was just telling you, some new standards that came out and is going to the healthcare providers. And without me saying anything else about it, here is Ms. Selena Opaliki.
Thank you, Eddie. It's a pleasure to be here again. Like you said, my name is Selena Opaliki. I'm originally from Nigeria. And I'm the president, CEO for Faith Home Health. For those that don't know what Faith Home Health is a home health agency taking care of sick patients in their own home, taking care of their needs, one-stop shop, anything they need from medication management, disease management, rehab, that include physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, of personal care assistant, skilled nursing. You know, anything you need at home to be comfortable, to improve quality of life in your own home, we provide, including medical equipment. So, again, I'm happy to be here.
All right, let's talk about these standards that we was kind of talking about the other day for Ebola.
Yeah. Eddie, it has been really scary topic for everybody. You know, including, in short, worldwide. I know it started in Africa, Liberia. Everybody's talking about it, travelers, even those that were going to travel back home in Nigeria, it become really scary for people. How comfortable are you traveling?
Yeah, and you got a trip. You got to go back over there within the next couple of weeks.
So a lot of people cancel their flight because of fear of unknown. Because I remind me years ago when AIDS started, you know, it's something similar really like that. So we're praying hard that there's a solution quick for everybody to have peace of mind, especially those traveling. Because even though you're traveling to Africa, it's not really Africa. People travel all over the world, from Africa to America to Japan to Asia to all over the world. So it's not one country or continent alone. It's all over the world concern. And I know World Health Organization is really working hard with CDC here and all over the world trying to find solution to it. So it's something that can be prevented for a simple thing, to be careful how you have contact with people, how you, when you're traveling, you take some kind of precaution. So, but I will start with try to tell, how do you know if you traveled and you come back and you kind of start feeling weird? What do you look for, signs and symptoms? So you pay attention to whether you're exposed or not, because it's something that is new to everybody. So from my understanding, being a physician assistant, I pay more attention to it because I have patients that are calling, try to figure out, how do I know I have it? So one of the symptoms, of course, is fever.
Okay.
You have fever, you have a severe headache, you have muscle pain, weakness, diarrhea and vomiting. Sometimes they start real stomach pain of unknown, and then they bleed. Some of them have excessive bleeding and bruising easily. So those are really major signs and symptoms that people experience if they're exposed to it. And of course, back home, from my understanding and hearing, I'm from Nigeria. Nigeria has gotten real world recognition for the way they handled few people that are exposed with Ebola. So right now, if you get in anywhere in Nigeria, if you're traveling, they're taking your temperature before you get in that plane. Or if you're going to a clinic, they check your temperature. If you have one, they not allow you in. So they're taking extra precaution and extra measure to make sure there's no spread. And right now, it's very content.
Well, see, one of the things, and this is where I had never thought I'd be using my microbiology degree on a talk show of this nature, but I guess, Ebola and if you believe in a supreme being, have kind of brought all this stuff to a head. So I get to talk and use my background more here lately than I have, since the 3 years we've been doing this show. But one of the things about the temperature is, if you got a temperature, if you take Tylenol, ibuprofen, or something like that, which is what traditionally people do in medicine, they treat the symptoms without treating the cause of the disease. And so if you want to break your fever, and you're going to get on that plane or you're going to do something like that intentionally, because you're talking about life and death situation. You're talking about people saying, okay, I got to go where I can get some help, because if I stay here, I'm going to die, which is what happened to Thomas Eric Duncan. That guy knew he was in trouble. And so he was trying to so he can get some help. And the fact that he got into a good hospital, and even though he did not survive, the fact that he was doing whatever he can, because when you're talking about a real life and death situation and you're fearing for your life, part of how you control contagious disease like this is to restrict, isolate, and quarantine. That's traditional.
Right.
And that's what they've done for years. So just taking people's temperature may not be a good way to control it. I'm just saying. I'm asking.
Eddie, how else can you have not everybody have that knowledge.
Right.
That you can take Tylenol or ibuprofen or anything to break fever. Not everybody have that knowledge.
Okay.
But at the same time, what else can you do on a quick moment? Can you start drawing their blood and check for virus? It's not possible. But if you have fever, eventually it's going to break. But for everybody to be on the precaution guide, that hoping that you don't know who is sitting beside you in the plane, you take precautionary measure. You use hand wash with soap and water to make sure you wash your hand real good, and use hand alcohol sanitizer to wipe your hand whenever you're having contact. So you're traveling, you try to take your own precaution.
Right.
Because you really, like you said, you really don't know. We are taking temperature just to make sure you're not exposing something that is obvious. But you really don't know, just like somebody with AIDS. How would you know somebody have AIDS? Unless you sit down and now doing real detailed workup. on the blood and everything else, isolating swab and all that, then you can identify. But until then, you don't know. So the best thing is to treat everybody as if they're infectious.
That's the point right there. I learned in Micro 101, when you're dealing with diseases, you treat everybody as if they're infected. And then you kind of go from there. And the ones who are not, you can screen them and release them and go through that other stuff. But the other thing is, the primary reason and the primary way you find out and catch and isolate disease and part of the process of limiting the spread is basically screening everybody.
Yeah.
And if you screen everybody and you catch a few may get away, but you catch more than get away, and that's part of the process. And the thing about it is, in the past, these type of disease were always in tropical climates where the populations were isolated. You've never had a bug of this nature, and I'm calling it a bug because it's a virus,
right.
In a huge, say in China somewhere, Shanghai, in Hong Kong, or New York, Mexico City. These kind of outbreaks don't happen in those places. They usually happen in the scrubs. So you can go in, send a team, isolate the village, isolate the area, and deal with it, and whatever way you need to deal with it in almost obscurity. Nobody else knows that what happened. Now it's come to Dallas, Texas.
Right.
Now everybody knows. So everybody in Dallas is
fearful,
extra cautious.
Right.
I don't want to have the CDC show up at our doorstep saying, "Oh, you're causing a panic." I just want to make sure everybody knows, extra cautious, because everybody realized the potential danger there.
Yeah, Eddie. Like I said earlier, you don't know who you're sitting with, and some of these people, even though they're exposed, they don't immediately show signs and symptoms.
Right.
It takes between 2 to 21 days for the symptoms to start showing. So, and the average between 8 to 10 days, that's when the signs and symptoms start manifesting. So you really don't know. The only thing that anybody can do if you're traveling is to treat everybody as if they're infectious and take extra precaution not to hug, not to shake, not to eat, put anything in your hand without properly washing or wiping. When you get home, you try to wash out the clothes you came back with. So, that's the best you can do. And pay attention to what your body is feeling when you get back, at least for the first 3 weeks that you came back. But you take precaution. It's not as bad as it used to at the beginning, but it's more contained now, especially in Nigeria, from the news and from all the indications that we heard. So I pray that the government and World Health Organization will be working harder to develop some cure so that people will have peace of mind.
But see, the other thing too, and this is the piece that scares the hell out of me, because of the fear, at some point in time, the media in general will not be getting the information.
Right.
So when that happens, and it's happened before, but now with the internet and some of this other stuff, you can't completely block it out. But they won't release information like the guy who went to Dallas, Texas. Well, that was all over the news for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks. Well, there's other people out there that we're not hearing about in other cities, other towns, other areas. And since it's not a global news event, those folks are just as infectious, and those folks have the potential, and those people have the potential to do what everybody fears. And that's my anxiety about the situation, is when the CDC stopped telling people and the information stopped getting out, then that's when everybody is in trouble. That's my concern.
And the conversation we've had here is dealing with the sanitation level in this nation is different than in Nigeria in certain parts where they may not have running water. So it's kind of an understanding, and we've kind of come to the conclusion that, well, all right, third world type countries are going to have higher numbers because they don't have the same sanitation we do here. We can still have Ebola here, causing an issue. Would it be as great an issue as in a country maybe doesn't have the same type of sanitation? Probably be different. We're guessing that here it would be less than it would be over there because they don't have the sanitation. So for these other organizations to come in and try and build up an infrastructure of sanitation in there, it's going to take a generation to get it in place. I can quickly bring in pipes and all that and make it happen. But I think it's going to be a process, not an overnight thing. It's going to be a slow process. So the numbers may be higher overseas still until the sanitation levels are brought up. Not that we have the best here, but I mean, you can still go to, we won't say the food court, but we can go somewhere and get some bad food. Well, that can still happen here, but it's not on the level it is overseas in some third world type countries.
Of course, even, yeah, you're right in some ways. Yeah, sanitation might be different here and overseas, third world countries. But
just an observation, not a good or bad. It just is right now.
Well, that's true. But remember, this Ebola is not really from water or from air.
But the washing of hands and
well,
like
contacts, yeah. But it's all about education. You know, the more you create awareness, like right now, I mean, the whole country, especially I can talk about Nigeria, the whole country is aware of it. So everybody is taking every precautionary measure. It's not about sanitation, it's about understanding the spread of it and how to prevent it from happening. So, and the country has done very well in spreading that awareness. So sanitation is another thing, but taking precaution is the key to it. Until there's vaccination or whatever that they can come up with treatment, then we have better understanding and treatment. But talking about America, if it comes here, it would take the same education to create awareness. So as of now, it should be more, but it's not really talked about here as much. But people should be aware of it, really, because you don't know who traveled where. They go to gym, they go anywhere. Nowadays. So they need to be taking the same precautionary measure.
I think
whether they traveled or not.
The biggest indicator is to be the blood coming out of the eyes. I think we pretty much figure there's something going on.
Well, when it gets to that level, then it's really bad.
It's
but
done.
they're walking around just like you.
Yeah.
You don't know anything until they get to that end stage.
And speaking of awareness, your organization is having a health care educational event.
Right.
You want to give us a little information about that?
Yeah. Thank you, Eddie. Like we said earlier, or like I'm talking now, education is really the key to everything, including management, disease management, and even prevention of Ebola. Like people are really scared here too. It's not just in Africa or any other third world country. People are here. I'm getting calls. What do I do? Again, we're going to have an education seminar and creating, again, awareness, teaching people how to be careful, how to prevent themselves from being exposed. You know, and not only that, not only on Ebola, we're going to be talking about other diseases, disease management, diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, stroke management, all kinds of, even balancing. A lot of people, you see them walk, they keep wobbling, especially at certain age. Sometimes you
I'm
don't...
not that bad today. Today I'm doing good. Some days.
In other words, he has not fallen down.
He hasn't fallen yet.
I'm not sharing with anybody if I did.
Well, that's part of what we're going to be screening
right.
that day to see your balancing, you know, what is causing it. There might be reason why you're having all that. So there will be a lot of screening, education, disease information, how to manage, better manage your disease. There's so many things you can have, but if you know how to manage it, you can live longer and a better quality of life.
Quality of
so
life.
So we have a day, and we have a phone number that we want to give out. So whatever information you want to give out, we want to give that out now so people can get it. And for those who want to know what's going on, go get a pen and a piece of paper and take this information, and she's going to give you a phone number. So you can call this phone number to get the information. We know the date. It's just a matter, we can't give out the place because it's going to be a facility. So again, we don't want to be overrun. We want to make sure we know how many people are coming. So that's part of the process. So you're going to either call the number that she's going to give you, or our information goes up every week. So for us calling us, so between calling them and calling us, we make sure you get the information. So you want to give them the date?
Sure, it's going to be November 7th, 2014, in one of our locations, like you said. But you can always call for contacts, and you can reach us by 727-437-8914. That's 727-437-8914. And you can ask for information, and we will give you detail, the location. And we are trying to kind of streamline the people coming to know who is coming to prepare information, enough people in place to be able to attend everybody one-on-one. And there's also free consultation for those that cannot make it. They can always call, and we can make arrangement to have free consultation for you, one-on-one.
And so what we'll do is we'll take the phone number. We're going to put it up on our Facebook page. So porchtalkradio.com, Porch Talk Radio on Facebook. So we'll have the information there. So if you go to our Facebook page, you can, if you didn't write it down, she's going to give it again before we're done. But you can go there, get it, and give them a call to make sure that you end up at the right place at the right time on the right date. So again, this is part of our public service, things that we want to do to help you be better citizens. And again, if there's a health issue, we want to be part of that whole process too. So if you could give them the phone number again, because I know some of them missed the phone number the first time. Say it slow, and again, I know someone went to get pens and papers to write it down and the date. So we got the phone number and we got the date. So you want to give it to them one more time?
Yeah, it's 727-437-8914.
All right. With that being said, our producer, the man, just gave us the sign, say we got about 2 minutes. So the man, the man.
Exactly.
Say we got 2 minutes. So I guess we can go around and have Willie make a comment, Gabriel make a comment, and then we get Selena's closing remarks for this segment.
Hit it, Willie.
Well, I think it's interesting, and I've been trying to do this with these people. I think a reasonable, rational approach to Ebola or any communicable disease with education is paramount. That's got to happen first. And I think that will assuage a lot of the fear, because just pushing fear to people will cause a bigger disaster, in my opinion, than the disease will actually cause.
Yes.
So I think that's great that you guys are pushing, here's what we can do, a common sense thing that we can all do.
Good.
To that we've already found out helps slow down at least the spread of the disease, and maybe even for you, if you are coming in contact with people who may have the disease, may even stop it for you, maybe even prevent it for you. That we don't get into the mindset that this thing is going to change and become airborne next week and cause a panic of things that may not even be true.
Right.
So I think that the only way to go about it is with reason and be rational and calm and do what we need to do. So I'm sorry, I'm going to go on because I don't know how long a minute is. But
no, that's fine. You share what you got. That's good.
I don't know how long a minute is.
I don't either.
Go ahead.
I think he's right on. Basically, education, like you're saying, making people aware,
right?
Making them realize some basics to look at. And again, in our country, the things that we catch on to is blood shooting out of the eyes. Okay, we got that. Fever we ignore because allergy season's going on, common colds are happening, and we just ignore the fever part. The sickness of stomach or whatever virus, not common, I'm guessing, but people for the most part, I just had some bad food or whatever, and just don't even think about it sometimes. I think being able to pull it all together in that education, saying, if these are all happening like at the same time combination of, there's a good chance that there's more to the picture here than what you're thinking about. Because again, here we just dismiss a lot of this stuff. I take some aspirin or whatever and we're done. But I think you're just trying to package it together and let them know if this is all going on in the same time frame, there's a problem. So I think that's great. Right.
All right, so you want to give them the last time, you want to give the information out, and before you get to that, because he's going to cut us off in a little bit, thank you for being our guest on the show, bringing this good information to us, and sponsoring this event, which is great. And again, for those who did not get the information before, she's going to give it again, and then we're going to go to our break. Give it to him.
Thank you, Eddie. I really enjoy being here, and I'm hoping to come back more for more medical education piece. But like you're saying with Ebola, it's not really for bring fear in people, but to understand how to prevent it. And if you have any signs at all, you just visit your doctor and start working on it, not to try to treat it yourself. All you can do is to rule out what could be possibilities. But again, our number to call for the health education is 727-437-8914. And we'll be more than happy to answer your questions and be there for you. That's why we're here, to help.
All right. Thank you so very much. And thanks, Selena, for coming again. And we're going to go to the break. And when we come back, we're going to have everybody's favorite segment. The coach is going to do his thing again. See you in a little bit.
Here at New Life Village in Tampa, parents who want to adopt children out of the foster system and seniors who want to share their wealth of knowledge with the younger generations really understand it takes a village to raise a child. It was just an idea Sister Claire LaBeouf had so many years ago. What if the nearly 1,000 children in Hillsborough County who were cast aside, languishing in the foster care system, were given the opportunity to be loved, to be cared for, to belong? One thing she knew for certain, the status quo wasn't working.
Every child has to belong, and unfortunately, when a child grows and matures out of the foster care system, they still look to belong. Now they may belong to a gang, they may belong to a cult, they may belong to a child sex trafficking ring, but they're going to belong somewhere. Everybody has to belong.
But she's working to now have them belong to their own family, their own community. And that idea she had so many years ago has become a reality in New Life Village, an intergenerational community that provides permanent homes at an amazing discount for families who adopt children 8 years old or older out of the foster care system, and senior citizens who are willing to volunteer and contribute their time, skills, and expertise to these families, all living together, supporting one another.
We're paradise lost. We've walked away from the way communities are supposed to be, and this recreates that community. We need our population that's olding. The kids need it, the parents need it, and recreating a community where we're surrounding the parents and the kids by a wall of support really works, and it changes the kids, it changes the families, it changes the community, it changes the economy.
As you can imagine, something like New Life Village, which sits on nearly 12 acres of land and boasts beautiful homes, a clubhouse, a pool, and a playground, doesn't happen overnight. In fact, New Life has been in the works for nearly a decade, with business and community leaders giving of themselves tirelessly to turn it into a reality.
And to take children that are basically disadvantaged and put them into a situation where they can be treated and grow up in a normal environment and become productive members of society. I think that's what the village is all about. And I think that's why that we are supporting it, and that's why I ask others to support it.
I went from being an interested person in Sister Claire, because this is her vision, to becoming chairman of the board. And as a community servant, this is one of the most heartfelt, rewarding type of organization that you can be involved with.
These kids, for the most part, do have some problems. They've been in poor situations, meaning with adopted families. There's some drug issues there. There's some psychological issues there. And this is an opportunity to take the children out of that environment and put them into a family environment. And that's what the village is all about.
A child who is raised in a stable environment is more likely to pursue his or her education, to have enough supervision not to get pregnant or enter into a criminal way of life. And so they are going to proceed to go to college and be a contributing member of society rather than be a member of society that depends on that society to support them.
So what started out as an impossible dream is now a reality, and it's changing Tampa Bay's future one child at a time. For Good Life Tampa Bay, I'm Rebecca Wood. For more information, go to newlifevillage.org. That's newlifevillage.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to Porch Talk Radio on TV. Please don't forget us on Facebook. Also, just type in Porch Talk Radio. You'll find us there. Be our friend. Please share it with friends and family. Also, don't forget, if you have a comment you'd like to let us know. If you are an expert on Ebola, please let us know that. Be glad to make note of that. Also, if you should see anybody with blood shooting out of their eyes, back away, please. This is a public service announcement we're making here. Also, don't forget us on blogtalkradio.com. Just type in Porch Talk Radio online, and you'll find us there. Eddie?
All right. Well, I guess it's that time again. We got some work to do before we bring the coach to you. And part of that process is thanking our sponsors. And Selena with Faith Home Health Care Incorporated, 24-hour home health, quality home health in your home. That's what she does. So that was part of her being our guest today, to make sure that you knew that there's somebody in the community trying to do stuff to make awareness, raise the awareness of what's there. So again, they're going to do this event November 7th. And again, what they don't want to do is get overwhelmed with a whole bunch of people showing up. So they want you to call, get the information about the place and the time and that kind of stuff, so that way they can control it. Because the worst thing could happen if they get overrun with folks thinking whatever they think and showing up, and they want to make sure they would be prepared to have enough people there to serve the people coming. So that's what that's all about. And of course, Republic Services, our title sponsors.
Thank you, Republic.
Bringing you this show every Saturday at this time. And also, I know for you guys who've been around for a while, you know that we used to have flowers every show. So this week we got flowers again from Bloomingdale's Flower Shop. And
thank you, Christy.
We have Asiatic lilies, yarrows, daisies, wax flowers, which is actually a flower, not a wax artificial flower, but a real flower. And
so it's a faux name for a real flower.
And purple status. So that being said, that bouquet brought to you by
exactly, like the Vanna White
Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, and it's doing a good job of covering up Gabriel.
Exactly.
So I know you guys, enough has happened, and we do have a word of the day too. So we might as well go ahead and have our Asian contingency bring to you the word of the day.
Hit it.
Here at New Life Village in Tampa, parents who want to adopt children out of the...
Something in there.
Uh-oh, she's not speaking. Oh, there she is.
Today is amygdala farm, which means it's shaped like an almond. Thank you for watching.
All right. Amygdala farms.
Amygdala farm.
Yes.
That's good. We can do that one.
Like the shape of your head.
Yes. It's like, it means the shape of Gabriel's head.
Shape of Gabriel's head.
Excuse me?
It's
hidden behind the flowers, so you can see it.
Shaped like an almond.
Like the shape of Gabriel's head.
So now, when you want to confuse people, are you playing that game of...
the dozens.
Yeah, well, yeah. When you play dozen,
you play the dozens.
Oh, you know, you playing a dozen, or you playing Scrabble. Now you got a new word that will baffle the hell out of everybody playing with you, and you actually could tell them it's got a simple meaning, the shape of an almond. And with that being said, and so, let's say I know something that's shaped like an almond is shaped like a football. So football and almond got similar shapes. But we're talking about politics, so I guess there's no particular shape for politics, because the last time I heard it's an elephant and a donkey. With that being said,
and what do elephants and donkey have in common?
Uh-oh.
Crap.
Uh-oh.
Crap is what they have in common. So,
wait, Coach.
all right, here's the deal. It is interesting how this 2014 election season is playing out. We had an announcement from a former presidential candidate here in the past couple of days, somebody that I actually like, who said that if the Republican Party chooses not to continue their fight for traditional marriage and their fight to stem the tide of abortion, that he's out. That he's out. He's gone, and he'll probably take a bunch of people with him. Now, because the Republican Party has not dealt with sensitive issues and sensitive things, now we're in this space where Mike Huckabee, a former candidate for president in 2008, as a matter of fact, went to the very end of the primary season with John McCain when it became mathematically impossible for him to win, and that's when he said he'd quit. Has said that if the GOP, and we're going to find out very soon, doesn't continue its fight for traditional marriage, aka their fight against same-sex marriage around the world, around the country, and their continuing fight against the tide of abortion, that he, being a Bible-believing Christian, I'll use his words, he and the people who support him and people like him of the Republican Party will be out. Now, a lot of my conservative friends are saying, we need to get away from the social issues. Let me help you. If Huckabee is right, then all your worker bees and all the heart and conscience of the Republican Party will be ripped out, and it will be left there as a husk. It'll be over. I'm telling you, I think it'll be over. It will be over because you will not have enough difference between them and us in a real way that matters to a lot of people if indeed you don't find a way to hit that balance. And I think on a national level, and we normally talk about state levels, but on a national level, if you can't hit that balance, then you know what? We are all done. We're all done. So it is my advice to not only the national party, but also here in town, here at the local level, that we find a balance there and find a balance soon. You can't throw, you know what it's like, and I'll go to football. You can't throw the ball all the damn time. Sometimes you have to run the ball. As a matter of fact, the idea is that sometimes that's all you can do is run the ball. Even if you can throw it, you need to run the ball anyway. And running the ball for, to make the analogy come full circle, for the Republican Party is the social side of the Republican Party. That's running the ball. That's your bread and butter. That's how you got to where you are now. That's how you got to the notoriety, the importance that you are now, because you ran the ball. And we can never get away from running the ball. We got to run the football. You know, it's Saturday afternoon, and of course there's college football going on, and I don't have any problem with the sports analogies because I'm really good at them. That's the deal. I'm really good at the sports analogies, and that's what the Republican Party has to do. There are a lot of new people in the game on the conservative side who don't think you have to run the ball anymore, but they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. Or the Philadelphia Eagles would win every game they play because they hardly run the ball, and they throw the ball all over the field. And that would have been that the folks at Florida with Steve Spurrier with the fun and gun would have been national champions 5-6 times in a row. And they weren't. Why? Because you have to go back to what you do best more than what you can do new. That's more important. So my advice to the Republican Party on the local, the state, and the federal level is to not abandon those people who brought you to where you are now.
That would require strategy then, right?
You know me, I'm all about strategy. You've got to have a strategy. Well, you got to have a national strategy.
National.
And the problem with a national strategy is there is no national strategy currently out there that locals can hitch their wagon to, which is a problem. I mean, back in the day when they had the contract with America, not only was that a national issue, but a lot of local candidates hitched their cart or their wagon up to the national, and you had consistency. That's the one thing you don't have now. You don't have a consistency because the things that make a difference nationally may not mean anything to local politicians or to local areas or even states in a whole. I mean, because again, you may think there is an immigration problem, and the fact that you're not a border state, maybe somewhere in the heartland, your immigration issue problem is a lot different. Now, I'm not saying you don't have one, because they bust people anywhere, like those 60,000 kids that came over. They kind of try to spread them out as quickly as they could. So your immigration problem is going to be different than a border state, which Florida happens to be a border state. So that is an issue that's seen differently by most states. So if I'm not in a border state and I'm in a local race, I may not mention that at all. That may not be a big deal to me and my people, as opposed to in the past where the Contract of America basically stated, roughly about 10 things, and at least 4 or 5 of those 10 things, most people can say this is just good politics and common sense. That's the mix you need. You need good politics and common sense. And then people will find a way to work with you, because they may not agree to all 10, but if they agree to 4 or 5 of them, that may be enough. And that's what you want to do. You're never going to agree with anybody for the most part, even people who are close to you, like your family members, wife, brothers, sisters, parents, on all the issues. But if you can find enough that you reach the same place, the same time as to its importance, then that makes and gives you a connection, if you see what I'm saying. So again, how we deal with this, and something else I would want to definitely bring up at this point in the program is there were some debates over the last week or so. Willie's laughing because they were laughable, I must say. First of all, a lot of folks had a hard time finding the gubernatorial debate. Telemundo! a lot of folks don't have access. I know you got cable, but you kind of have to find. I mean, it was maybe not intended for everybody to have access to it, so it was geared toward Hispanics, and I hope a lot of Hispanics saw it. But some people really don't have Telemundo, and as they flip through the channels,
not of my favorites.
So if it's not something you flip
a black man's not one of his favorites? Why is that?
You flip through, you don't find some of these things. And see me, I have cable, the deluxe package, so I probably got 50 Hispanic stations, because I got a whole section of my cable thing that's all Hispanic.
That you never watch.
I tend to not watch it, because I don't speak and I don't understand Spanish.
What?
But I'm not profiling.
No.
Because those are Gabriel mi gente.
I don't even watch them. What are you talking about? I don't listen to English. I want to see the pretty women on the left. I don't need the volume on. I didn't want to
get hot chicks. They got the hottest chicks on TV.
Big time.
Gabriel watched the Hispanic soaps, the soap operas.
The hottest chicks on TV.
Yeah. Prettiest ones out there yet. Curvaceous.
Yes. So anyway, I'm thinking that was a targeted debate, not intended for everybody.
For the common folk.
And so that being said, Bay News 9 did a debate, another debate, that I think not many people was aware of it. And then again, not many people actually saw it, because it was a debate for the Attorney General, State Attorney General. Closed debate, did it at the TV station, and then they aired it later. From what I gather, it too was laughable. So again, I'm just kind of looking at. I'm doing what they call Monday morning quarterbacking. Hopefully, round 2 of the debates, because I hear there's going to be at least another round of debates. It's probably 2 more rounds of debates for the governor, another round of debates for the Attorney General, and some of these other folks who we don't even know are running, because they haven't made a big splash. And I'm a politico. Only the fact that I got yard signs at my office do I know these folks are running. And I literally, myself and Tim, our producer, had to run them down to say, we could spit. we could throw a rock and hit a voting early voting precinct because there was a library literally right out my window that I could throw a rock and hit from my building, and none of those guys had posters up. I mean, they got posters and yard signs and stuff, and nobody is working. I mean, let me say it like this. I ain't gonna say they're not working. They're not doing the obvious stuff. So you're supposed to go from less complicated to complicated. The simple things is just put out some yard sign, make sure people know you're at least in a race. A lot of that haven't been done. So that I give them, failing remarks because again, you can't touch everybody with TV commercials because everybody don't watch TV, especially regular TV. And then there's so much cable out there. Like I say, I literally have on my cable box 1,600 channels or something.
And the last time you watched all of those?
I'm never going to watch all of them. I'm never even going to flip through all of them. I have a few of them that I flip through, and the rest of them I don't ever see here. They're just there. I'm paying for them because they just come with the package, but I'm never going to watch them.
I bet Telemundo's out there.
I know. Like I said, I got at least 40 Hispanic stations.
For the times you want to listen to Hispanic stations.
When I know where to find them. I know where they're at.
There you go.
And when I learn to speak Spanish, I will listen to them most.
Exactly.
So with that being said, folks, that's it for the coaches session today. Hopefully somebody in the Republican Party is actually listening because this is good stuff.
I doubt it.
Even if I say so myself.
I doubt it.
So we got a new section, new issue that we're gonna bring up. Well, actually, it's a new old issue. They shot
a recycled issue.
They shot another kid.
No, a white man,
another black kid, a white cop.
Oh yeah.
And we're laughing.
He's going down.
We're laughing because it's actually becoming comical. And I'm not laughing at the situation.
No,
I'm laughing at how we deal with it. So we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, that's what we're going to deal with. See you in a little bit.
G morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me back. Hey, did you tell your parents about us? Let's skip first period together. Did you get all my texts? Is practice over yet? Where are you at? Are you with your friends? That's LAAAAMMEEE. Capital X, lowercase o, capital X, lowercase o. I love you. JK. I hate you. JK. Are you ignoring me? We're in a huge fight right now. Is it something I did? I can see your lights on. I'm coming over. What'd you dream about? Me? I'm lonely. Holla back. Holla back. Let's try something new. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
On TV. Don't forget it's on Facebook, please. Also, Porchtalk Radio T for your Twitter people, as well as blogtalkradio.com. You just type in Porchtalk Radio online, and you'll find us there. Come on board to Facebook, be our friend. If you'd love to be a sponsor of this great show, please let us know. Drop us a message on it. If you have a comment on something we said, great. We'd love to hear from you. Got a great show as they're finishing up. Eddie?
Well, I have an issue.
Uh-oh. Which one?
Well, my issue is if the media are entertained,
amused,
amused
there you go,
with the death of black teens any weekend in Chicago, any week in Chicago, there's a whole, you got teens shooting and killing teens. You have black cops shooting and killing teens. You got white cops shooting and killing black teens. You got all the scenarios. So it's not that they can't find it anywhere other than St. Louis. But somehow last week, it happened again. Now, it is so funny because I listen to the media, and I listen to the stories, and the kids' parents been on TV all week, and basically the kids' parents say, it's not what they say, because the news say the kid shot 3 times at the cop. My issue becomes, if I shoot at anybody 3 times, I'm going to hit you at least 1. I'm going to hit something. Somebody's going to be at least wounded if I shoot 3 times. If you ever see the Westerns in the olden days when they have the gunfights in the street, it's usually whoever shoot first hits something. Okay, you shoot 3 times, don't hit nothing, and then you end up getting shot like 7 or 8 times and you dead.
Something ain't working.
It's something about that scenario, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
Well, that happens all the time, basically, because people can't shoot.
Yes!
People can't shoot. I think it's amazing that you even have police officers who are in mass numbers will shoot at a suspect 30 or 40 times, and the guy gets away. So that happens all the time. That's the deal. And what we're seeing by media in Chicago is that it was a hot button that got them ratings before, and it's a hot button that will get them ratings again, because that's all they really care about. They didn't care about Mike Brown, and they don't care about this kid either.
No.
And what we have in our community is a huge problem, and it's a problem that nobody's addressing. The problem is that this kid was already out on probation.
Yes.
To start with
ankle bracelets.
And what we refuse to deal with in our community is that this kid that we have got a generation of people who will not respect authority, who do not respect authority. And a lot of times that gets us in the situation. When I taught school for 15 years in Hillsborough County, I would tell my kids all the time, it is hardly ever the initial offense that gets you in trouble. It is always the reaction to the correction that gets you in trouble. It's not what you were doing, but it was your reaction that causes the problem.
Oh.
And a lot of times in these situations, that's exactly what we end up with. And unfortunately, in these situations, while dealing with police in sensitive situations, it could get you dead.
Get you killed. Gabriel, 2 cents.
You know, guys, the media, who runs the media? Is it the minorities or the white people? It's the white people. When are the minorities going to figure out they've made it into a circus? They can see the minorities killing each other, being reduced in numbers, and they're having a blast with it. The ratings go through the roof. They got the cameras all on it, and reality is it's not reality. For the minorities to begin to just switch that garbage off and go do something useful, like, I don't know, watch Telemundo, who knows, but something, but that ain't it. The CNN, the Crime News Network, it's just getting old, folks. It's getting old. It's people just ignoring it now. We're getting callous to the reality, and the reality is not what they're showing. That's the problem.
All right, with that being said, folks, until next week, when we do all this again, see ya.
Come on back.
Porchtalk Radio on TV is sponsored in part by Republic Services and by Faith Home Health Incorporated, licensed, bonded, insured in-home health care, and by Blooming Days Flower Shop in Tampa. Thanks for watching Porchtalk Radio on TV.
20?
Don't get lost.
Oh, welcome back to Porchtalk Radio on TV, live, kind of. Don't forget us on Facebook, please. It's Porchtalk Radio. Just type that in and you'll find us and be our friend. Please share that with friends and family. Also, if you have a comment or something we've said, it really just set you off, twisted you up, got you in a knot, that's too bad. But feel free to drop us a message. We might be able to respond to you if we choose to. Otherwise, if you'd like to be a sponsor in this great show, please come on board, drop us a message. Also, don't forget us on blogtalkradio.com and just porchtalkradio.com. Share that with friends and family all over the planet. Eddie?
Well, as we did last week, we want you to know early voting is here. It's coming. So let me give you the information about early voting. This is like not a paid public service announcement, but it's just something I want to make sure folks are aware of. That early voting starts on October the 23rd at 7 a.m. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it opened from October the 23rd till November the 2nd, including weekends. Weekends for all you folks who don't understand what a weekend is, because you got to be working to have a true feeling for weekend. But weekend is Saturday and Sunday, which is different from Monday through Friday.
With the time change coming up this Sunday, right?
Yeah, I don't know when the time change coming, okay. but I know that early voting starts on the 23rd.
There we go. Keep it simple.
Okay. With that being said, I want to make another thing because, for some of you guys, this week, I know. See, my birthday actually came on October the 13th. So October 13th, I became...
You didn't tell me. I would have given you a hug.
A young and spry 61 years old.
So senility's coming along with that, huh?
So it happened on October 13th. October 13th used to be Columbus Day. For most of you guys who've been around for a while, since Columbus was here, they have now politically correctness has set in, and it has been changed to Indigenous People Day.
No,
I'm just saying.
That's sacrilege. Sacrilege. That's wrong.
I'm just saying. Political correctness happened on my birthday, October 13th, which was Monday. It became, I guess, some places officially, some other places unofficially, Indigenous Peoples Day. So, for you PC folks, just to buck the trend, down with the white man. I guess Christopher...
But they're doing it to themselves. White men are tearing white men up. I'm like...
Christopher Columbus...
This is like the minorities being shot.
Who, for the last couple of 100 years, have had a holiday.
Holiday?
I'm just saying. And so now PC has set in and stole another white man's glory by saying and naming it
Glory.
Indigenous People Day. So... for those who want to celebrate it, it was Monday. Now, with that being said, Porchtalk Radio on TV, we come here every week. We're not politically correct, so that's why I can say the white man on TV, and we don't make a big deal of it. But we got a great show for you today. We're going to do some talking because that's what this show is all about. So when we come back, we're going to start with our issues for the week. And the first one is going to be a good one. See you in a little bit.
You gotta be careful. You gotta watch out for a lot of people. It's up to you to look out for kids like me. Watch out for kids. They don't always pay attention. Please watch out for kids like me. Watch out for older people. My mom or dad could be walking on the street. Watch out for my grandma. You gotta watch out for anybody you see on the street. Because it really hurts when you hit by a car. Like you have to go to the hospital. You have to get stitches on it. You might die if you hurt one person in the family, you hurt the whole family. Watch out for others. There's nothing fun about action. Nothing at all. Follow the rules. Look ahead for signs of people. Be aware of crosswalks. Look out for school zones. If you see kids, go slow over. Being safe takes all your attention. Be aware of what's going on around you. Watch out for the people open the car doors. Watch out for bicycles. Be aware of blind spots and where people can hide. Watch out for vision blockers. Please use your mirrors. Always check your mirrors. Tack up carefully. Your situation can change quickly. Keep a cushion of safety. Keep your distance. No driving fast. The stop sign means stop. Don't forget to stop out the line. Communicate with other people on the street. Use your turn signal. Make eye contact. Tap the horn if you need to. Bye-bye. See you later.
Hey, family.
Welcome back, everyone, to Porch Talk Radio on TV. Don't forget us, blogtalkradio.com. Just type in Porch Talk Radio online, as well as Porch Talk Radio T for you Twitter type people, as well as Facebook. If you want to be a sponsor of this fine show, or you have a product, service you'd like to let be known, come on board, let us know. We'd love to be able to offer it out to the general public. Eddie?
Well, we have a topic, and I think that just the nature of the topic is somewhat sickening to me. It's not sickening like throw up barf sickening. It's just sickening the essence of it. Because Obama's FBI claims U.S. citizens fighting with ISIS are entitled to return home. I'm just saying, I mean, we got people who left this country, went over there, got trained, because this was
by the bad guys.
Yeah, this was something close to their heart. They just felt these guys had so much to offer, and they was right, and they had been used and abused and all this kind of
with
stuff.
With our capitalist ways.
And I'm talking about males and females.
Exactly.
Went over there, got indoctrinated.
And
kind of got the reality check happen somewhere along the way. Either they got attacked by some people fighting against ISIS, or either the people who was fighting with them and were ISIS, they found out to be, not the nice people that they read about in the books, especially for females. So I guess the rubber met the road, and they said, well, I'm going to do like we always do. I'm going home to mama, or going home to daddy, but I'm going back home. And, of course, with the politically correct State Department that we have, now, knowing that they were fighting with ISIS over there against Americans and against other people that was supporting America, but they're American citizens, so they get to come home, no questions asked, and just resettle until ISIS push their card, punch their card, or call their number, because they do have cells, sleeper cells. So they went off, got trained, maybe was sent back, maybe they couldn't take it and they came back, but the theology, the ideology is still in them. So now we just making it bad on ourselves, because I'm like this. In this country, for hundreds of years, they shot, and I mean shot, traitors. Because that's what anytime you go away and fight against your country, you're a traitor. Those are still part of the Constitution.
Eddie, there's a new training now. Those are the freedom thinkers, Eddie. You just don't understand the politically correct atmosphere we now embrace.
Explain it to us.
As we grab our ankles for this, because it's an understanding that as they go and have this free thinking moments in other countries, learning these other ways and other cultures and experiencing the shooting of weapons at the people that they grew up with, it just seems to create a more round, fuller individual.
Speaking of
so
round,
to accept them back would just be natural.
Speaking of round and full, I'm a rounded, full kind of guy, which means I can't touch my toes.
Okay, that's a separate issue now. We don't have that kind of time right now. But keeping it back on the table, at this point, the current administration is trying to let us know that these... Is this the second hour?
No, this is first hour.
It's kind of letting these individuals know, that you and I would just call damn fools, that they can come back and do what they want, commit harry-carry, helter-skelter all over the planet at us, and we'll just take them back and say, oh, it's okay. It's like that drunk uncle we have. We'll just ignore them.
Yeah, the drunk uncle.
These are just fools who want to kill and murder us. They go get trained on it, and then we want to accept them back in, and what? They're going to be crossing guards at our elementary schools? Really, folks? Have we even thought this one through? That's all I got.
That's the drunk uncle that you have to protect your kids from. And it's so funny because I always hear people say, well, we got one of those. Every family got one of those. I'm going to tell you.
No.
I'm just, see,
come on, Eddie.
I have
come
to think
on,
about
you
that.
let it go.
Because all the folks in my family that I know that may be like that, you don't come up in here because you don't get credit for being stupid, crazy,
there you go,
or insane in my household. Touch one of my children.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just telling you.
I got that.
So that being said, we put up with it. That's insanity. So for y'all who got the drunk uncle that you can't let your female kids around and stuff like that, that bastard don't supposed to be coming to your house. That's the same thing with these ISIS folks. Now, they don't ran off, got all indoctrinated into this theology thinking that we the bad guy. Well, okay, you stay where you at because you don't come back. You see, because I don't want to have to watch out for you, me personally. See, so my uncles or aunts, anybody that I think is not worth being around my kids and my family, I don't allow it.
No.
So we should not allow them back, even though they're crying. And most of them don't look like me. I'm just saying that. We're not politically correct.
It's that beard thing, Eddie.
So I'm going to throw that on out there, too. You know,
that Obama hat,
we all
Obama
caught up,
turban.
We caught up in our youth getting shot, but they ain't running over trying to come back and destroy the country. At least not like that. Anyway, Mr. Willie.
Well, you know what? This is so much typical of the childish, sophomoric, especially North American behavior, that we think that we should be able to do everything. We teach our kids that they can be anything, they can do everything, and there aren't any consequences. We see this all the time. So now we've got kids in this country and in other countries around the world. There's 2 Austrian teens that have thought that they went to mosque and they got indoctrinated, and off to Syria they went to fight beside ISIS, and now they're both knocked up. And one's 15 and one's 17, and now they want to leave too. And we have Americans who want to do the very same thing because we think we can do anything, anywhere, and always carry with us our Captain America shield, that we can pull our United States card out whenever we want and get back to how things used to be. Well, the fact of the matter is that we have to learn that there are consequences. So when you decide to get on a plane and go to Syria to fight with the enemy of this country, that you have made your choice.
Right.
And there are consequences of making that choice. And if one of those consequences are that you are now stuck where you are, and now you have decided to abdicate your Americanism or your American citizenship, and you may not come back with open arms at all, then that's the choice you have to make. And if you've made that choice and you think that that deep down in your heart that was the thing to do, then that's what you've got to stick with. And it's awful that people are are now in horrible situations. But remember, these are the things that you chose. And I think that this needs to be a good object lesson for Americans to start with, that decisions have consequences. And that sometimes you have to suffer those consequences. And I think that we're in a politically correct environment, and we're in a political environment that we're teaching kids, and we're teaching our college kids especially, and our young people, is that there doesn't have to be that consequence, that there's a safety net that involves everybody. Mm-hmm. So if you go out and screw up your finances, guess what? There's a safety net for you. If you go out and screw up your social life, there's a safety net for you. If you decide to go ahead and fight against your own country in a foreign land, and in this environment, there's a safety net for you. My deal is there is no safety net for you if you do that. At some point, you have crossed the edge. If you decided to go fight for ISIS, now that we know who ISIS is and what ISIS is, because you thought it was the right thing to do, then that's your consequence. And whatever happens there, unfortunately, if you're the next person who gets their head chopped off on a YouTube video, I think you have to remember that you chose it.
Right.
You chose it. And as awful as it is for the families, and as awful as it is for your friends and your schoolmates, I understand how awful that is, but we have to say sometimes, this is the life that you've chosen. And unless we start doing that, we're going to have more and more of this. And Eddie's right. The last thing we need to do is have radicalized people come back and pretend everything's okay. Because, quite frankly, I don't trust you.
No,
I don't trust. If you've got,
but that's called profiling. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, I'm profiling like well, anyway. The idea is that if you've gone and you're radicalized enough to leave the country and go fight on a foreign land against your own country, against their allies, I can't trust you coming back. You have lost your trustworthiness. I'm sorry. I just can't trust you. So you're the next one who straps a bomb to themselves and goes into a McDonald's somewhere and blows themselves up in the name of Allah. I can't trust you.
Or drink a tube or vial of Ebola and come back and basically kill all the folks you love just by hanging around them.
You know, I think, folks, it's more, this terrorist thing is more of an Ebola of itself, in that if we let them loose and they want to come back to us and bring us this disease, mental disease that is in them now, they've been reprogrammed to think like the stuff that we don't raise naturally here, so I can try that one. They're going to come back and kill. What does Ebola do? It comes back and kills. Is Ebola any more specific? No, it just kills whoever's around comes in contact with it. Well, that's the same thing with these terrorists who we're wanting to accept back in our arms, saying, okay, you can come back now if you want to join the PTA, be crossing guards, help out at the local nursing home. I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, no, that's been removed. We can't do that. We can't trust you. If we have a bad family member who's had issues with children, he's not watching my kids ever anywhere nearby the same property, no, it's not going to happen. Does that mean I can't learn to put up with the individual? Sure, from a distance. He can text me. I don't care. But otherwise, he ain't coming around my kids. And for us to say, we want this guy to come back in our community?
Yeah.
Really? That's stupidity.
Well, what I think of it is, okay, these folks made a choice. They went away. They got brainwashed. And we know their whole philosophy is to kill as many infidels as possible. So you put them on a bus, they kill 50 people. And that's them pushing the button themselves, destroying themselves and other people around them. That's the ideology that we're dealing with. So it's a hell of a lot easier if I want to kill myself, or somebody's convinced me to take as many people with me as I can to get scratched, take some infected blood and do whatever you want to do with it, but give me the 21 days to incubate. I want to go home, so I get on the plane, go back to America, go somewhere where nobody knows me, or either go back home and do what I do, touch as many people, interact with as many people, go to as many football game, baseball game, basketball game, whatever place I can go with a bunch of people and just touch everybody I can. And again, no guilt because I'm thinking I'm doing Allah's will. By the time you figure out who these people are, where these people are, and you already know they've been indoctrinated and brainwashed, again, we asking for trouble. I mean, seriously. I'm thinking like Willie. They made some choices, kind of like the parents who never go into their kids' bedroom, or the kid that live in the basement and he's 40 years old, or the kid that's 20 years old and he's down there. You don't know what the hell he's been doing, and the next thing you know, oh, my child wouldn't do that, but he just killed 80 people.
Yeah.
Your child wouldn't do what? You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. You don't know your kids. That's my problem with it.
So I won't even go into the simple statistics or the research that's been done on these real wackos, kids that have done all these school killings and all that, if their parents are registered Democrats. I'll leave that alone. We'll just kind of move on to another area here, okay? So at this point, if we're going to say, okay, you can go do all this bad stuff and come back and we'll accept you, there seems to be a disconnect on the retardation because people say, well, how do we know it's really them? Okay, they're on Facebook. They're proud to be on Facebook with showing their weapons that they're using and all this good stuff, and now they come back to the United States and say, we want to be like you. Well, once you've been over there like them, there's no coming back. This is like trying to rehabilitate a pedophile. I don't understand that. It doesn't work with that, and it's not going to work with this other who has spent time out in the field shooting weapons to kill us, Americans. And we're going to indoctrinate them back in and hit a simple reset button, and suddenly you go, oh, I love America. Oh, I hate these other countries, especially these terrorists. No, they're going to be sympathetic. They're going to be sympathetic. Hussein Obama, who is raised Muslim, he's been exceptionally sympathetic to the Muslim cause. Why do we have all the infiltration of CARE into his administration? He's one of them in training. He knows the religion, the faith. He calls himself Christian. I don't know, but I'm just saying he's been indoctrinated into the religion. We know that. And yet, he's sympathetic to them. Why is this strange to us, folks? I don't understand.
Well, let me throw this out there also. In this country, I think, I'm going to say female. I could easily say white females, but females.
Caucasian.
White females. You call it what you want. They're like top of the food chain. You got white men and you got white women. I mean, basically, first-class citizens in this country. So why would a female relegate herself to being a second or third-class citizen in another country when she actually knows where she comes from? She can basically complain about, ascertain, control quite a bit of her environment. Go somewhere where day one you gotta put on a burqa and you gotta cover yourself and you gotta follow 10 paces behind your man or somebody in the family. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not saying I'm familiar with the religion. I'm just saying to you from what I have seen, for someone who have been in a different situation, in a different perspective, to go and relegate themselves to being a second or third class citizen. That in itself to me is a strange phenomenon, strange practice. So I can pretty much easily see some white female going over there, getting caught up, thinking it's something that it's not, and then that reality sets in and she want to go home. That's just the part that I don't agree with.
Well, anyway,
you as an adult, you made a decision, and now you find out it's not what you wanted it to be. But this involves lives of other people. So that's where the country has to be big enough, and the leadership in the country has to be big enough to say, well, before you can be indoctrinated back into society, you got to at least go through some quarantine. You got to at least go through some Americanization program. You got to come back and prove that you are still an American citizen. If not, do like other folks who are not allowed in the country. Expired visa, whatever, you need to go back where you came from because you can't come here.
Well, yeah, and that's really the deal. The deal is that these people think that this is going to be this big glorious thing, this crusade-like thing that they're on, because media and other influences here. My grandma had a phrase for it. We are so free till we are foolish.
Yeah.
That we think that. We actually think that the United States is on the wrong side of this issue. So that's why They think this is this glorious crusade thing they do by getting on the side of ISIS or Hezbollah or Al Qaeda and fighting the Zionist. So until they find out, and not just white women, but they find out that the reality of what they're doing is different than what they thought the glorious mission was going to be. And now, like Tooter the Turtle, they want to come home. Well, you know what? Sometimes, again, like I said a few minutes ago.
Many of them may not know who Tooter the Turtle is.
I know. But
that's for my time. What is it?
So go to YouTube and find Tooter the Turtle. And then you'll go, oh, crap, Willie was right again. That's exactly right. You can't be Tooter the Turtle. Sometimes, once you make your decision, once you make your bed, that's your bed, and you must lay in it. And I think that you're right that our federal officials and people people who can make these decisions have to stand up. It's really hard to stand up because you'll see crying moms and dads on television begging that these people are able to come back, and you'll see all this emotion when there's a reality here. Your kid or your husband or your wife or your son or daughter made this decision, and now they're stuck with it. Now you're stuck in Al Qaeda or Hamas or ISIS or whatever else there's out there that you have chosen to be a part of, and it's not glamorous, and you'll probably be dead sooner than you had anticipated. You know, and I don't mean to be cruel because I understand it'll be horrible. It would be horrible. I'm not being cruel and cold like some people are going to characterize me as. I'm not. But you make decisions in life. And that's one of the things that we don't do anymore. We don't make people stand up for their consequences. You know, we're always trying to bail them out. We're always trying to soften the fall. And sometimes the best thing in the world for people
let them hit the floor.
Is let them hit the floor.
Ooh.
That's exactly right. And we see that all the time. We see that with people who are hooked on drugs. We see people who are hooked on gambling or any sort of addictive behavior that a lot of times the experts will tell you they have got to hit rock bottom before they can save themselves. And I think that in this situation, they've got to get to the worst point ever before they change their mind. Simply being rescued out of their situation and brought back here is dangerous not only for them, but for us as well. So, you know, you made your choice. So if ISIS is your choice, then
ISIS it is.
ISIS it is.
You know, guys, I just don't see there being much of an option here that we're giving the general people, and it's just kind of just open border routine, open borders, open thinking, open-minded, do what you want, no consequences. I remember telling my son, you need to get up, we need to get going. He ignored me the first time. Second time, hey. Third time, he was on the floor. I pulled his foot out from under the sheet and just pulled him right out. He understood from that point forward. And I said, time to go. It was time to go. There was an absolute. The line was drawn. He had full understanding. He was going to hit the floor. I love my son to death today. He's owning a home, family. He's running. He's making it happen. I loved him, but I didn't put up with his stuff. And I think we need to put some consequences on these people, except this allowing to just... This is that big tent idea, isn't it, guys? This is an expansion of the big tent theory, isn't it?
No, it's not.
They're trying to be thrown on the Republican Party to accept them all?
No, it isn't. It's that there's no consequence. And that doesn't have anything to do with the Big Tent. There's no consequence. These are the children that you see in the mall that run their parents ragged.
Yeah. Cussing their parents out.
Oh.
Those kids.
No, I
and everybody in the family standing around talking about ain't that cute. And you know what I say when I walk over? That ain't cute. What for damn?
Because some correction officer, some police with a gun is going to be the next one in line saying, yo.
Yeah. And I heard somebody, and again, not to get off, but we're talking about consequences. And I hear people bragging, oh, I've never hit my child. I never hit my child.
That's a shame.
You know, and again, your child out there killing folks because you ain't never disciplined your child.
Never disciplined.
And hitting is one form of discipline, but a lot of parents have never disciplined their plan because they was reading Dr. Spark or whoever who ain't never had no kids themselves trying to tell you how to raise your kids.
Oh, that's not right.
See, that's the issue. So anyway, that's our 2 cents about ISIS and the folks trying to come back and destroy the country from without as opposed to destroy it from within. And with that being said, we're going to go to a break. And when we come back, we're going to thank our sponsors and do some of that stuff and have another session with the coach and do what we do. See you in a little bit.
Hey.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
Close enough.
Close enough. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Radio on TV. Again, we've hit several bases on several things here. We're trying to bring to you some information. We're not trying to change your thinking, just trying to give you something to think about. Because if you just listen to what the media is preaching right now, it's infectious and it's a cancer and it leaves you alive, and the next thing you know, you'll be suffering from lots of issues retardation-wise. But anyway, just going forward with all that.
You just said it makes you retarded.
You have to be looking at the big picture, please. And we're trying to give you information, trying to balance it out. If you're listening to just the regular news media, we want you to get something you can work on, some meat. Don't forget us on Facebook, please.
Meat?
Calm down, sir. But if you go to Facebook, just type in Porch Talk Radio. You'll find us there, as well as blogtalkradio.com. Just type in Porch Talk Radio online. Of course, Porch Talk Radio T for your Twitter people. And if you'd love to be a sponsor of this great show, come on board Facebook, drop us a message. Eddie?
All right. Just for you guys, and I think anyone who's seen this show before know our sponsors. Republic Services is our title sponsor, so they are the reason why we are here every week bringing this great information to you. Faith Home Health Incorporated, quality home health 24 hours a day in your home, doctors in your home, therapists in your home, nurses, anything else you need, drugs. I don't mean like the bad drugs.
Sign me up.
I don't mean the bad drugs. I mean pharmacists, pharmaceutical,
prescription drugs. You mean.
Prescription
medication,
drug management. All that stuff happens right there in your home. Faith Home Health, 24-hour day, quality home health in your home. And of course, as always, Bloomingdale's Flower Shop actually got flowers here again today.
Thank you, Christine.
To make stuff happen. And again, they always make the set more beautiful. Smell better, like Gabriel's smelling the flowers and stuff like that. And they're doing a good job of hiding Gabriel. So, anyway,
exactly.
Those are the things that just brightens our day and make things happen for us. And so now we have someone that actually will brighten your day, and we call him the coach. Coach, there's some politics happening out yonder.
Help us out.
There's always politics.
Yonder there.
Politics because there are people. Whenever there are people, there's going to be politics. I don't care what you try to do. And I don't know if we were going to talk about this, but it came to my mind immediately after it happened. And I did a show on my Blog Talk Radio show called The Willie Austin Show, and my Spreaker show called The Willie Austin Show. See, I try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Try to keep it so I remember it. Here's the deal. And my thought was that you can lead a people to freedom, but it's hard as hell to hold their heads under. It really is.
I like being baptized.
Now we went. Yeah, exactly. The people who say they want to be baptized but don't want to get wet.
There you go.
That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with conservatives and Republicans in general. People who say they want to be baptized but they don't want to get wet. We were at Eddie and I and the man behind the glass were at a meeting not far from here, a little bit ago in Manatee County, having to do with a particular management of government that they were proposing that, in my estimation, did everything to keep the process of governance not transparent, opaque, as a matter of fact. And I know I'm using college words, opaque.
It's a big one.
That means you can't see through it.
Like black.
Like as thick as this, trying to see through this table.
Or white.
The idea is it was opaque. And this particular board, the Manatee County, and I'm going to mention, I don't mention it by name, but I'll mention there's the Manatee County Commission, mostly Republican,
6-1 Republican,
have decided that they were going to continue a deal with their garbage hauler without putting it out to bid, and I'm not concerned with the nuts and bolts of their contract right now. What I'm concerned about is the whole concept by which that Manatee County and Republicans in Manatee County, and I'm talking about you independent conservative folks too, who decided that this wasn't a big enough deal for you to be concerned about. This is what governance is. Governance isn't who you get elected, how many R's or how many D's, or how many C's or how many L's. That's not what it's about. It's about what happens when these people get into elected office and what you do to ensure that your municipality, your city, your county, your state, your country is being run by the principles that you say that you stand for and are behind, and correcting them when they don't. You know what, as bad a message as that was for me, that they decided that they were going to go ahead and not open up these contracts for bid, keep the process opaque. As bad as that was, I was more hurt and disappointed by the lack of outcry from Republicans in Manatee County and the independent conservative movement / Tea Party movement to not be aware, and if they were, not to stand up and not to show up and at least make your concerns about this known. Because here's what happens. These people leave the county commission offices and they decide they're going on to the next thing, and they go on to state offices, and they go on to national offices, and here's where they learn the backroom deals that we say we all hate.
Yeah.
This is where they learn them. They learn them at, at school board meetings, they learn them at city council and county commission meetings. This is how they learn all the stuff that we continue to say that we hate about government. And you know what, my Tea Party friends, this is the same crap that you continue to say that you hate about Republicans, but you saw them do it, and you let them do it. So you gave them permission to forget government in the sunshine. It was a blackout curtain at that county commission meeting. It was a blackout curtain. And you know what? They did that in the open while you were watching, and you did nothing and said nothing. It's like, again, somebody who says they want to be baptized, but y'all don't want to get wet. Y'all want this, but you don't want to work for it. You think that by pulling the lever or circling the circle, that's all you have to do. But have you not learned that it's not enough? It's not nearly enough. So the idea is that we've got to get, we've got to be inconvenient sometimes. So yes, so you may have to take a couple hours off work. Yes, you might have to put the kids in daycare or get a babysitter. You might have to be inconvenienced for the running of your local government, and indeed maybe the running of your federal government. This is a republic that wasn't turned over to the politicians. This was a republic that was turned over to the people. And if you think that by electing someone as your, quote, representative is enough, like Dr. Phil says, how's that working out for you? It was never meant to be that way. It was always meant for you, the person, the Republican, the conservative, the libertarian, to have an active role in your government. This is one of the few countries in the world where there's actually a pathway for the average citizen to have voice. And it just irritates, can you tell? It just irritates the crap out of me when you don't take that pathway. And then have the nerve to show up at these big Tea Party rallies on April 15th and on July 4th, talk about taking back your country. Taking back your country? You can't even control your own community. Most of y'all can't control your own living room. How in the hell are you going to take back your own country? Are you serious? You're not concerned about what happens in your own downtown. But somehow, because Glenn Beck or Rush Limbaugh or whoever on the national radio program shows up and has a big meeting that you travel to Washington, D.C., now you've done your part. Let me help you. You ain't done anything. You ain't done crap. Nothing. You've done diddly, nothing, zero. Shame on you.
Yeah.
And shame on you. You know what? You always deal with the thing that happens closest to you. Deal with the worst thing first. And the worst thing happens to you the closer it is. Deal with that, because that's where you're going to have the most impact. It's like a punch. If you're hitting way out here, not much impact. But if it's here and you can punch through, you're going to have more impact. That's what you need to be doing. And if you don't get involved in the 2014 elections that are happening right around you, shame on you. And I want to hear you crying about the Republican national nominee for president later when it's somebody that you don't like. I want to hear you crying about it.
All right. with that being said,
Where's my medicine?
Exactly. Give me a shot of something.
Blood pressure. Look at that blood pressure.
There
now.
you go.
What Willie is saying is, and this happens all too often, elected officials show up at the public meeting with their minds already made up. It's like guilty until proven innocent. Because they already kind of know the good side of the process. That's what he was talking about. And what lawyers call that is collusion or corruption. Because I can't see how any public official, given an option to be transparent, chooses not to. Not to be. I'm just saying.
Doesn't make sense.
I'm just
Doesn't
saying.
make sense.
Common sense. And then to hear a public official who's salaried complain that, well, it may be a lot more work to do an open bid. There's more work involved in that process. Where if we just keep it to what we got, we already know what we got. We safe, we comfortable. Well, I'm like this, and I hate to say it, but laziness. Because anytime somebody tell me, "Oh, it's too much work," and I'm saying, "Okay, ain't that what you're getting paid for?" And for a elected official to complain about their duties. Okay, did you not realize that when you ran for this slot that there are certain requirements and certain things that you were supposed to do when you got elected? Especially if one of the things you get elected on is accountability. Now I'm going to tell you something about accountability. When these SOBs get in those slots, and you sit at home throwing stuff at your TV, it's your fault. Because when they have a public forum and nobody shows up, except for a couple of people, when these issues come up and these chambers should be full of people concerned, because I'm going to tell you something, nothing scares the hell out of elected official more than a chamber full of concerned people. And we don't even have to carry our torches and pitchforks anymore. I'm just saying. Because in the olden days, the people know they was in trouble when the crowd show up with torches and pitchforks and shovels and axes and stuff like that. I mean, that got their attention. Just by you showing up in the room at 9 o'clock in the morning, because they do all these public meetings at odd time for working people, and you think that's an accident? They do it intentionally.
Keep you from being there.
They do that intentionally. So if you take a day off or half a day off, if you make arrangements to show up so that they see you, and I know because this works, and issues that's not even on their agenda. If you get a crowd of people, 40, 50 people, 100 people, however many people you think is enough people to show up and they write it in, guess what? It becomes part of the agenda. And you're talking about counties that got hundreds of thousands of people. But if 50 people show up in that chamber, that room with one issue on their head, it becomes important to them folks that day. I'm just telling you, it works. So when you hear about something happening at the county level, at the city level, even at the state level, hell, you take a couple of buses of folks and go to Tallahassee, you can make stuff happen up there. Because every one of them people that's going to deal with it and make the decision are elected officials. Now, they staff may not give a crap, because the staff kind of stays there and the people in the head of the office go and come. So you got a bureaucracy, folks that's been in these same jobs for 20, 30 years, they don't give a crap because they're going to get their money, they're going to get their pay. But them people who get elected are supposed to be obliged to be accountable to you. And every opportunity, and when they're given the chance for a closed backroom, smoke-filled, cigar-filled, women and men in the room making a decision, or being able to do it in the sunshine where it's air's fresh and clean and all that kind of good stuff, they're supposed to take it. I'm just saying. And I know Gabriel don't have a whole bunch of time to add his 2 cents.
No, that's all good.
But add your 2 cents, brother.
I think you guys are trying to use common sense and telling people we don't have to keep doing the same old, and getting the same old, and everybody keeps complaining the same old, same old. Why don't we just change it, get involved, make understanding that, I know Eddie always says it, a lot of these national races start out local. Let's go get involved locally. Let's make some changes here, so by the time it gets to national, we got a better handle and control of it, and it's for the people, by the people, as opposed to by the politicians for their own well-being and not ours. So I think you guys are right on, just kind of preaching to the choir here. Everybody out there seeing those signs, go out and talk to those people. Hey, can I help you in your campaign re-election process? Let's get involved. It takes you getting off your can and going out and do something, as opposed to continue just griping and bitching and whatever else, and letting the same old just keep happening. If you're getting sick and tired of being sick and tired, get off your can and go do something about it. Go get involved. That's all I got to say. Eddie?
All right, well, I guess we'll go to the break and do our last section. See you in a little bit.
G morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me back. Hey, did you tell your parents about us? Let's skip first period together. Did you get all my texts? Is practice over yet? Where are you at? Are you with your friends? That's LAAAAMMEEE. Capital X, lowercase o, capital X, lowercase o. I love you. JK, I hate you. JK. Are you ignoring me? We're in a huge fight right now. Is it something I did? I can see your lights on. I'm coming over. What'd you dream about? Me? I'm lonely. Holla back. Holla back. Let's try something new. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
To Porch Talk Radio on TV. Please don't forget us on Facebook. Come on board, be our friend. Just type in Porch Talk Radio. And if you have a comment, you'd love to be a sponsor on our great show, we'd love to have you on board. Don't forget to on Porch Talk Radio T for all you Twitter-er type people. Of course, PorchTalkRadio.com. Please share that link with friends and family all over the planet so you can set up watch parties. Eddie?
Well, I just want to make sure everybody is aware that on November the 7th, Faith Home Health, one of our sponsors, is having a health fair to kind of, just check you out, see what kind of condition you're in, and the health fair is free. So to get information, because again, you say free, that in itself makes a whole bunch of people want to show up. And
stampede.
And now that we got the Ebola thing happening, folks may want to get checked. And so again, we don't want them to be overwhelmed. So in order to get information on the free health fair, we want you to call 727-437-8914. Let me say that again, real slow. For those who want to find out the information about the free health fair, it's going to be November the 7th. And we can't tell you where because, again, they want to control the number of people show up because they don't want to be overwhelmed by folks showing up to get checked. And I know it's a lot of opportunities and a lot of stuff going on. But one of the things they're looking at and they provide information on is the new standards being handed down from the CDC about Ebola. So, again, that being said, the phone number to get the info for the free health fair is 727-437-8914. And we'll have that information available on our Facebook page, Porch Talk Radio on Facebook. So again, kind of go there. We'll post the information so you can find out, get the information you need, show up at the health fair and get your free screenings. I mean, you may do you good. You may find out you got something you hadn't thought about. So again, that's what that's all about. Now our last segment is going to be interesting, and we don't have a lot of time, so let me get right to it. With what's happening, scenario: 5 people come into the country from some other country infected with Ebola. The isolation period that considered to be the incubation period for the disease don't happen. You're not isolated. you get to wander around the general population. Say somebody goes to Seattle, Washington. Somebody go to Texas. Somebody go to New York City. Somebody go to Miami. And somebody maybe go to Chicago or Tennessee or Atlanta. I mean, I'm just picking places out, randomly all over the country. Each one of those persons potentially in a period of a month or 21 days, I mean, depends on, what kind of person they are, contacts 48 people. And those 48 people have no clue that they've been in contact with somebody who could be having or carrying a contagious disease, a deadly contagious disease. And then those 48 people each go out and touch another 48 people. And I'm taking this number because this is a number that's used by a lot of medical sources as the number of possible contaminants of people who they call them contacts. The number of people that you would contact on just doing the regular things you do without knowing you're doing it. This is not somebody whose job is in the hospital literally touching people. Now, if you think about that scenario, and how many people in a month could actually become contaminated with this disease. And the system of healthcare that we have, because the scenario I am telling you about is something that could be the beginning of the end of Obamacare. Because a lot of folks will show up, okay, I touch Mr. Duncan. I came in contact with Mr. Duncan. That's somebody everybody's familiar with because he's the first person to die in this country from Ebola. And he died a couple weeks ago. Now, everybody that touched him show up at a hospital somewhere, walk-in clinic somewhere. First question they ask, because when I was younger, I worked in the Hillsborough County Health Department. And when we were dealing with simple diseases like gonorrhea, I'm just saying, I know it's a strange stretch, but when a person came in and was infected with gonorrhea, part of their paperwork was how many people you came in contact with. And the health department would have to contact each one of those persons and tell those persons that this person that you've been in contact with, and this is sexual contact, has gonorrhea. And we need you to come in for some tests, or we need to have you take some medication or take some precautions or whatever you want to do. But we had to contact each one of those people. With a disease like this, and with healthcare supposedly relatively being free, can you imagine and kind of put it in your picture how long it would take for the medical system that we got is the top medical system in the world to be overwhelmed by the disease, the symptoms, and all the people who could possibly have come in contact with somebody who actually is a disease carrier. See, that's what we have to deal with. I mean, that's the fear that the CDC and a lot of all these medical groups and organizations haven't told you. And I think the darkness that potentially could arise out of the reality that this thing can overwhelm the system is what's going to put us all in trouble and it's going to have us all in danger in the not too distant future.
Well, you know what? That's why when we talk to medical professionals, we have to talk about what's reasonable, what's rational, because it's the fear that will overwhelm the system. The system, any system that you set up, no matter if it's our medical system we have now, our medical system that is underscored by the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare. None of those systems are designed for the influx from the panic from a pandemic. None of those systems are designed to absorb that. So we're talking about even in Hillsborough County, if this afternoon 5,000 people showed up at all the local hospitals, you've got those hospitals shut down, all of them.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, none of those hospitals that are in our area are designed for an influx of 5,000 people to show up about one thing in the emergency room. So that's why we got to be really careful and really cautious about how we get information out and what we tell people.
I think the misnomer here, Eddie, is that the Obamacare system is suddenly a miracle drug. Basically, Obamacare technically is just subsidy to help people get insurance. Now, the same medical system is in place. It's always been there. Hospitals, clinics, and all that. That's all the same. The only difference is with Obamacare is people getting access to it. So if the system itself isn't prepared or isn't ready for it, Obamacare doesn't mean squat because you still got untrained. And, I'm thinking about all these people that are highly trained that are the